What's up, friends? Welcome to the Live Composing Show. This is Stephen Melin, and this is the Video Game Music Alliance. Hope you're all doing fabulous today. Today is another semi-impromptu stream. We usually have our streams on Thursdays at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard, and we certainly have one coming up this Thursday where we're going to be doing a really interesting episode with Dragon Ball The Breakers, which is a brand new game that comes out this week, I believe. I have to check my dates. And I love DBZ and I love the whole Dragon Ball universe. We're going to be doing some electric guitar sample libraries and some metal drums, which is going to be super fun. I can't wait to do that. Yeah, Matt is not here yet. He'll be here on Thursday. He's only scheduled to do live streams on Thursdays with me, so I don't want to abuse the poor man. He does a lot. He does a lot around here, so very thankful for him. But yeah, so today's going to be pretty chill, kind of like yesterday's stream was. But it seems like you guys really like these streams. And it's fun for me because it allows me to have a little bit more accountability as far as focusing on work. It's always a strong temptation to come into the studio and like get sidetracked with sample libraries and playing around. Certainly I get my work done, but it's always nice having a moment where we can focus and have some fun together too. This is always motivating to me. I am an introvert, believe it or not, because I recharge by myself. But I have extroverted tendencies, meaning I have the most fun usually in life when I'm doing things with other people. And live streaming is just one of those things that I feel like you guys are in the room with me and we can make some music together, which is super fun and very inspiring. And I'm very thankful to be doing this in 2022 instead of 1802 or 1822 when you couldn't do any of this stuff. Had to just slave away at the piano and the harpsichord. Although I guess that was Beethoven's era, right? Anyway, excuse me, I'm still recovering from a cold. But let's do the thing, yeah? Do the thing, Julie. So today we're working on the game. We're working on a new roguelike OST. It's a large soundtrack. I've already been slated for about 30 tracks. It will likely be more. It's just a big old game, and I'm really excited about it. This is actually the largest game dev team I've ever worked with, 12 people at the time of this recording anyway. I'm sure they'll grow beyond that, but super exciting. Very large budget, large expectations, high expectations, large contract, and I'm very excited about that because it gives me something to work on for a long time, for the next couple years or so. And I'm going to, yes, that was totally a Core reference. There are other people who work in this building, so I can't be as loud as I wish. Anyway, I'm very thankful that a soundtrack like this is mostly in the box, if not exclusively in the box, using Cubase. I'm very thankful to finally be at this spot. I've been working with the team for several months, and we finally have a palette, finally have a template that now I can just write everything, and it's going to sound like the game, which is super exciting. So I can't show you artwork today. I can't go into the Unity engine and like show you the fun like programming side, the implementation, or the sound design. But today I can show you my session and start working on stuff. The only agenda for today is over the next 2 hours. I'm going to work on as many tracks as I can get my hands on. I have 6, actually, as of yesterday, 7 unfinished tracks. And I just got a thumbs up from the devs today, actually, that the latest demo that I sent over was a good start and needs to be worked on. So I'm just kind of in the middle of a lot of things. And this is the way that I like to work. I really enjoy getting to work on multiple tracks at once and not have to only work on one piece of music because I'm not always inspired by one piece of music. But I really like that. Oh, here's a cool idea for this one area of the game. I can just jump to that and start writing, which is a lot of fun. So the piece of music that I got the demo green light for this morning, which is probably the smartest place to start, since I'm already actively having a conversation with the devs about it. Is this one right here. This is the Winding Wetlands Exploration. And I'm trying to channel a little bit of like Chrono Cross vibes, I think. that wasn't the brief at all, but I just feel like this would do well to have that. And it looks like my time signature is already a little screwy. I think it's a 4/4 time. Let me change my signature. This is what happens when you work with everything in the same session. I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be 4/4. So let me fix that real quick. Okay. Oh, I know what I have to do. I need to go over here and make this 6/4. There we go. Just to kind of adjust it. But anyone that's ever done film scoring, you have to do a lot of little tricks like that if you're going to do the whole film score in one session, because you have to, like, if you screw the time code or whatever, you have to start pushing stuff back, which is not so good. All right, let's do this thing. I'm glad you guys are here. I wish Matt could jump in the chat, but that's all right. He'll join us again on Thursday. So I feel a little bit disconnected with you guys, but I'll do my best to jump in the chat. If I'm not answering and you need a response or something, just, ask your question 17 times and I'll eventually see it. I do see Antonin has a question. Do I use Fmod or Wise in Unity? I actually don't have to. The game devs are so smart that they've actually coded their own script inside Unity that is basically a very dumbed down version of Fmod or Wise. So it's basically middleware. It's customized. So basically what it means is they've almost created a drag and drop function for me to where all I have to do is drag the sound files, whether they're all WAV files. All I have to do is drag in the music or the sound effects, and then I attach. They literally just make a drop-down list of everything, which is amazing. They custom coded all of that. And so all I have to do is literally drag them in, and then I personally choose which files go where, which is amazing, because then all I have to do is hit play and have my Xbox controller over here, and I test it constantly. And then I'll tweak it ever so slightly, make sure things loop properly, make sure sound effects are the right levels, and all that stuff. And I'm just kind of doing it internally. And the cool thing about Unity is we're using GitHub. I will show you this process once I have the clearance to do so. I can't show any of the assets from the game just yet, but because it's just too early. But it's really, I've never done this before, where I'm working with a team of 12 simultaneously. It's like the artist is making animations and the coders are in there programming, and like everyone's working on it every day. And so we're using GitHub, which is an app that allows me to make all of my changes. And as soon as I hit save, it's always saving locally, but as soon as I hit commit, it actually sends my session to everyone else. And then they can download the changes that I made into their session and vice versa. So it's like I'll be working on a sound design for an animation, and all of a sudden the animation's changed. So now I have to, see what they changed and just make sure everything works. So there's a lot of play testing, but that's the job. I feel like this is the closest I've ever been to the 1990s, actually, when game composers used to work at the game studio, and they would like visit once a week to play test everything. So this is the first time I've ever been able to play test like whenever I want to, not just when they send me a build every quarter or whatever. So this is a much more in-depth process, and that's what they wanted from the beginning. In our earliest discussions, they said, hey, we want you involved from the very beginning, like literally play testing constantly with the sound and music. And to me, that's super fun and very rewarding. So once I write something, I just throw it in and make sure it works. All right, anyway, let's get to work. This is the track that just got semi-approved, meaning they like what I have so far, but it's very, very barren and empty, and it's definitely time to fill it out. So enough talking. Bar 666, that's hilarious. Whoops, how'd we get there? First thing I want to do is I want to make sure I have a 2-minute looper here. So this should be 39:11. It's going to be my looping spot. So unless the dev specifically ask for a different amount of time, my default for this soundtrack is 2 minutes, 2-minute loop for everything. It's an easy way to do it. And if we have to adjust it, we can, but it just allows me mentally to always know how much I'm working on this stuff. All right, so here we go. The Winding Wetlands. And fun fact, this dark synth pad is actually from the Emu Proteus, which is an old 90s synth that was used in a lot of like GoldenEye soundtrack. It was used, like Grant Kirkhope used it a lot. Who else used it a lot? Koji Kondo used it a lot in the Zelda series. So a lot of N64 and PS1 era used that VST. Not the VST, but the synth. So I just thought that, anytime I can find like cool pads like that, and I've made my own contact instruments out of all my retro database, but it's such a cool, moody, it's literally called dark mood. So that is such a perfect sound for this game. As we're escaping the darkness. Got my triangle. Uh-oh. All right, I like what we have, but I'm just going to start writing. I'm not really here to present anything. I'm just here to write. So to me, I feel like a horn. This is a good spot for... I'm very thankful that this dev team really likes melodies. I think anyone who hires me, you better like melodies, because that's just my thing. I don't do a lot of atmospheric stuff. I lean towards melody all the time. I have to force myself to not write a melody. So I'm very thankful for that. It can be simple, but like something like that, just a solo, not solo horns, but a tooty horn line. That's pretty close to what I want. And help me out with my my mic level. I listened back to the stream yesterday. My microphone was really low, so you guys got to make sure I'm not too quiet here. I have all the power. I just don't always know. Or if my music's too loud, let me know. So something I'm trying to avoid. One of the demos that I sent, I think it was last month, it had a bit of an Arabian feel. Something like that. Okay, I'll turn my mic up. Actually, let me do this. I'm going to turn my music down. That way, you guys can turn up your mic levels, because I'm already just about to peak with my mic. Anyway, so I got to be careful about any kind of like Persian scale. So I think I have to avoid the minor third, because that's just too Eastern sounding, and that's not appropriate for this at all. So that's a little bit better. I don't want to lean into any cliches like that. pretty cool. Good old octatonic scale. Can't escape it, can we? Hey, what's up, Adam? Yeah, I like that better. A little bit more of a leap in the melody. It's not right, and I don't know how to fix it. Let's play. I want to make it more singable. To me, that's like too regal, too like that. That's better. That's a little bit more stately. You still got a bit of motion. We have some eighth notes, but there's also a little bit of longer notes. So whenever I write a melody, I try to do some kind of combo of rhythmic interest. So what I mean by that is I like to have some notes that are fast, some that are slow. That way, it becomes more singable. And I particularly like, whenever I can, to leave some kind of gap, like a rest. Yada, yada, da, da, da. Da, da, breath. Da, 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 na, 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 na. You know, surprise note. Na, na, na. So I think that'll work. And then let's do some kind of repetition, but not necessarily in the horn, or at least let's double the horn. That'd be a good spot to do. Definitely gotta have some strings in there, because strings are actually not doing anything at the moment, except through the low octaves. Peak note. What does that mean, Micah? Is it like the interesting note, or am I actually peaking? I don't want to. No. The stank face. Got it. Some crappy sounding trombones. I don't want the big brassy. Nah, I like the soft stuff for this. I like that. What is this for again? This is the wetlands. So to me, think of like a marsh. It's dreary. It's like foggy, very gray, grays and dark greens. So color-wise, it doesn't need a lot of color, right? It doesn't need orchestral colors. The Sakimoto note. Guys, I'm so excited about Ogre Battle coming to Ogre Battle Rebirth or Reborn, whatever it's called. They're remaking for Switch, Nintendo Switch. They're doing a remake of Ogre Battle from the SNES. I'm so freaking excited because that was the game that made Sakimoto his career, and then that led him to being, because that was the first, it was a Square Enix game, or sorry, Squaresoft game. And then immediately afterwards, they said, oh, we could do this for Final Fantasy. So they made Final Fantasy Tactics, where he scored the whole thing himself. And it made his entire career, for sure. It's a big year for Sakimoto. I love that tritone. There we go. That's nice. Let's set that in. Those are 16ths. I'll just MIDI pencil it in. Maybe it's 16 or 30 seconds actually. Come on. There we are. That'll sound really solid with trumpets on top. Ever since I learned how to conduct, I'm not actually a great conductor. But ever since I learned conducting in college, when I write melodies, I have a tendency to like conduct while I like I write the notes. I don't know why I do that. It's so goofy, but it's it helps me to musically like channel what's in my head. So maybe you should try that for anyone. Might want to try conducting. Just a thought. That'll sound cool with strings. So everything here looks good. We just need to make sure. There's a cool function in here. In edit, you can select the inverse. So I'm going to put those. That should work. Doing some quantization here. Cool. So let's keep going. Oh, autosave. Beautiful thing. It's a good viola line to me because it's going to double the the horns. So whenever you have a horn line, violas double really well with them, or second violins. But this one goes lower than the seconds. Their range. This might make a better second half phrase. I think that's going to work really well. Let's keep figuring this out. So something I added yesterday, which I really liked, was the addition of the contrabass clarinets. But not just a solo, but an ensemble of contrabass clarinets, because why not? It doubles so well with the low strings. It's so sinister. Like, to me, you can't have a marsh or a swamp without some low woodwinds and some low strings. It feels very earthy. So I like this. I'm very, very glad that the team is starting to open up to more synths, because from the beginning they were like, no synths. This should all be, live orchestra, but sampled. And I kept saying, okay, cool. Then let's hire a live orchestra. But they don't want to hire a live orchestra. I mean, it's not a money thing. It's just they don't like that sound. They don't want it. I'm like very curious about that. They want what they want. So what I'm starting to lean more into the effect side of things. So I'm taking things like this wooden flute and just throwing a ping pong delay on it so that it shifts between the different speakers, which is obviously unnatural. You could never achieve that sound in a real setting. So I'm really trying to lean a little bit harder into that kind of stuff. There's other tracks where my choir, I'm starting to do this more, but it has a delay on it as well. Same kind of thing, right? Which I think is cool, and it's a unique way. So I'm really happy that they're starting to be more accepting of things like this. This super cool dark synth pad. That was a fun find. I wasn't really looking for it. I was poking through some of those old patches from the 90s, and I just couldn't believe how cool that was. I bet you that this is used in like the haunted house from Super Mario 64. That's my theory. Something like that. Like the Boo's castle or manor. I want to be careful not to get too big, because that's a big shift in energy. Let's go from this solo flute to jump right into the big brass. So perhaps this would be a good melody. Let's experiment. That's why we're here, right? Just to try some stuff out. I'm going to take this melody. I like it. It just may not need to live there. So I'm going to take all of that and put it in the second half and see if it matches the chords. Let's find out. I like that. That actually works. So what I can do is just modify it a little bit and have maybe a solo something. Maybe it could work. that's just too much. It doesn't work at all in that context. Sure, Javier. I have a recommendation for you. Check out. See, this is why we need Matt. Just go there. Go there, videogamemusicalliance.com, and then type in whatever question you have. We have a really cool, robust search feature on our new site that will actually filter all of the free content, all of the paid content that we have, all the training and guides. It searches through our entire YouTube database. It searches through all the paid courses and what's inside the pro group and all that, but it just filters it down by your search. And so you could actually go through all of the predefined search categories like mixing and orchestra and effects, that kind of thing. Or you can just type in reverb, orchestra, and something cool will pop up, I'm sure. So I hope that's helpful. That's why we designed that, because we get so many questions every single day, no joke, at least a handful every single day of people who have great questions. And so that's just a tool that we can say, hey, go look there. Okay, the clarinet is really cool, and I think it should be featured in this C section over here, but the B, we're going to need something a little higher range. Let's see how high it has to be. It almost has to be. What's up, Melin? Let's call you Meg. Mego. I'm using some different synths. Synths for today. The main two that I'm actually using in the track as we speak. There's a dark synth pad that I grabbed from the old Emu Proteus, which is an old synthesizer from the 90s, used heavily in N64 titles. And I was just poking around and I found that and I sampled it and I thought it was so cool. Also I'm doubling that drone with the nickel herpa, which is used in almost every track. It's kind of like a hurdy-gurdy bagpipe. I'm also using a dark lead, which is called Kilgara, the Great Dragon, which is this. So cool, from Era 2. But I'm actually not using it for its low atmospheric purposes. I'm using it for this creepy lead. I'm really just using it to get some noise, like some creepy sounds that are not actually strings. In the mix, it almost sounds like just creepy strings effects, but you know. Yeah, Omnisphere 2 is fantastic. Gosh, I love that. I wasn't even trying to add that. I love that because this actually reminds me. I mean, my brain's really, really on Hades still because I just played the snot out of that game. I probably just put like 50 hours into it over the last month. So that Greek mythology world is definitely in my head. You can't, whatever we consume is kind of what we output. But that's what it sounds like. Exactly, Micah, the sound of many souls. I'm thinking of right now, I'm actually thinking of Hercules, the Disney version. I'm actually thinking of like the underworld. I'm thinking of like the green rivers with like fog and the black and green. And I'm also thinking of Halloween because, it's Halloween month, but I'm thinking of like the green hands reaching out. I mean, why not? This is the winding wetlands. So it's, nothing's safe about this place that we're exploring. It's supposed to feel a bit creepy. I just think that'd be a cool. But I gotta pick a better chord than that because that's actually a major chord. That's all right. That's a E flat 7, so a major 7. So I want to pick a minor chord or a maybe fifths. I don't even know what key we're in, man. I guess we're in C minor. So let's experiment with a 2 chord and a 4 chord. That's a 2 chord. Let's try a 4 chord. Now let's experiment with yeah. So that's just a minor a second. A major second is what you'd call it in theory. What I don't want is a clash, which would be a minor second. It's too sharp, like it's too pointy. So instead of a major second, it doesn't really have tonality. Like it's not a major chord, minor chord. It's just kind of there. It's a blob. I think that's the place to go. It's just 2 notes, an F and a G, because we're a C minor chord. So I'm going to do an F and a G and just let it descend on these big beats. Here we go. And hey, somebody said hi earlier. What's up, Matthew? He said he finally catching this live. Well, that's exciting. Yeah, this is one of the benefits of choosing weird hours to stream sometimes. You get to bring on some new folks, some new faces, new names. I'm so glad you're here. I've learned over the years to just save a lot. So even though it takes a little second to do the spinny wheel, I've lost too many sessions and too many ideas in my career not saving enough. Because Cubase, it saves like every 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever I have it set to. But you can have a crash in between, just a take, things happen. So it's just a habit. Whenever I pause for a second, I typically hit Control S. It's just a habit. What's up, Keaton? Glad you're here. So I feel like there needs to be something else. I'm having a conflict because I had mixed feedback from the dev team. Some of the team, remember this is 12 people, so it's no longer just one person I'm working for. So there's a lot of opinions. Not that they're all equally weighted, because obviously the lead game designer gets the most vote. And he's the one that likes it. So he likes the sparseness. So I'm probably going to lean more into his opinion than some of the others. But one of the other guys was saying he wished there'd be something else on top of this wooden flute delay. He thinks it's cool and it sets the right vibe, but he wants something else on top of here. So maybe we can kind of do something sparse on top and kind of, meet both. This is a hard one because I don't think I can add a melody or anything like that. I might just need a little bit of texture. So let me experiment with some woodwind textures. So I'm actually just going to duplicate, because I don't want to change my routing. Let me duplicate my flutes. That way it's still purple and has my routing and everything. The only danger of doing this, which I relearned yesterday. Let's see. Wind effects. I learned this yesterday, or relearned this yesterday, that when you duplicate a track, you're also duplicating all the MIDI data, so you have to go through and zap it, or else you're going to have all kinds of extra instruments that you didn't expect. So one of my favorite places to go for effects is the 8DO Cage series, which I think someone mentioned in the VGMA group earlier this week that it's super on sale right now. It's like $50. That's crazy. This thing's awesome. So if you ever do scary music, which I do a lot, shockingly, I never sought out to write scary music, but it just keeps popping up in the video game music world because there's a lot of tropes behind it. Let me find it. It's on my second drive. I have 2 sample drives. So I have an 8DO Part 2 Cage bundle. This thing's huge. So it has strings, brass, and winds, 3 different volumes that you can buy. But they have, I think the whole bundle is $50, which is crazy right now. But the strings, this stuff's just crazy. So it has low strings and high strings. Oops, I didn't mean to grab strings. My bad. Winds. We're trying to do winds effects. There's low and high. I think some high winds, so like mid-range textures. And that's it. It's just pulses and textures. It's so cool. Yeah, I write so much horror music now, which is just funny because it's not my favorite thing to listen to. It's more or less, I write melodic music, but a lot of times the setting of the music I'm writing is like something dark. So it's just nice to have some textures that you can throw on the back. So this is a really solid pack. It's on my second drive, so it's not my SSD, which is lickety splickety fast. So it takes a minute because it's on my external hard drive. And I got 6 of these suckers. 6 drives. Okay, so this is pretty cool. And by the way, fun fact, when I worked with David Wise on Dark Dice, he used a lot of these. He literally used this exact same patch right here. When we worked together, it was the Toy Train Graveyard. Just so cool. I don't want to use that one, but these are great for adding some texture and like tension. I want something a bit chiller that actually feels like Souls. This always reminds me of Bernstein, like To Kill a Mockingbird. Oh my gosh, that entire score is this. You could write the whole score. I like that. Yeah, this has to be used very subtly. It can't be the main event. I'm not hooked yet. Maybe something like that. That's pretty cool. Ooh, that reminded me of Sekiro from the Dark Souls team from Software. I like that. Just maybe way less. Oh, what's going on? There we go. Maybe to kind of make it spookier, I'm going to put an S1 stereo imager on this so that it feels wider, probably like 1.5. So 150% wider. That's pretty good. Man, this is turning out great. And all I have to do is really repeat that phrase twice and have like a 2-bar outro. I think we have something here. So for the next half, yeah, okay, 3-bar outro. Cool. Yeah. So go ahead and make the outro. Yum. This is going to be a yeah, cool. For this, so we need. Hey, what's up, Will? Let's do a fourth. So it's a C chord, but it's only a fourth. Let's kind of do an outro. Cool. And then that should loop. I don't know if that's going to work at all, but... What's up? Ooh, I like that doubling. That's so nice. The second half. So this will be C2. And this is where low strings double. Grab it. I love this patch. The low strings, octaves. That's the coolest low string patch ever. So beefy. It's all good except for that one note. If you hear some humming in the background, Got some leaf blowers all around the building. Oh well. Okay, libraries. Low strings. I'm using the octaves from Metropolis Arc 1. The Wolfenstein low strings, the first patch there. And then we have some pizzicato strings from 8Dio Adagietto. Thanks, Marie. Which reminds me, thank you, leaf blowers, for reminding me that I need to add my nickel harpa drone to this. Actually, I don't think I can really do drones to that. Maybe here? That'll work. Oh, I know what I need to do. I need to add my Dark Sith pad. Lord Vader. Rise. I can't hit my... I'm starting to feel better. Darn it, I can't hit my low notes. Rise. Wow, that was nasty. Alright, since we're doing this. This isn't working too hot at the end. I'm thinking just chop it off. Either I need to make a better loop point or just stop trying so hard to make a loop right there. So either you need to have some kind of like 2 or 3 measures of like letdown of the tension or just loop it. Cool. Moon Knight vibes. I haven't seen that. Or watched. What is that? That's like an anime. Let's play. Not convinced. Ooh, that's a nice addition. Yeah, let's do that. All right, I think that one's in a pretty healthy place. It's not done, but it's close, and that it's enough to try to send to the dev team to get some feedback and probably go from there. So let's take a quick coffee break. I'll be right back, a couple minutes, and we will jump to another track for the soundtrack. See you in a sec. Alrighty, friends. Let's get back to it. Making some good progress today. Oh no, I have to single-handedly zap the invaders. Let me kill them real quick. Let me squash the bugs. Get out of here. Get out of here. I'm not as fast as good old Matt. It's okay. Don't you worry. I hear for you guys. He can't hear you. Hiya. Are we doing the link? Huh? That's it. Ah, I got you. Don't you worry. I can be your temporary Matt superhero. Melin. All right. Let's shift gears because my brain can only do so much of one thing before it just turns to mush. So let's explore the Temple District combat. I don't even remember what this is. Let's listen. Maybe later. Let's see. Nah. I want to work on something that's like almost ready. Almost done. Not that. You want to work on the garden or the woods? Because we almost finished this yesterday. That's cool. Let's do some quantizing. Just kind of cleaning up stuff now. Why is that so annoying now? All right, I want to beef up this perk section because currently it's just triangle and taiko drums. That's before I started adding the seed shaker, the Tom Holkenberg percussion, and the skin drum. So this is for the alchemical woods exploration. That's a great loop point. Let's make sure it actually is 2 minutes. I love the track as it is. I want to polish it a little bit. So my time code here is 2608. So it should end at 2808. Aha, so we're not done. We need to be done here. I don't know what else to do. Well, this part feels a little rushed. So either we deal with this being 4 seconds short, 6 seconds short, or we can experiment with slowing down the tempo. Let's do that first. That's a faster solution. So let's make this, instead of 120, at 434. Instead of 120, let's make it 118. Let's see if that gives us enough leverage. Not quite. They only gave us 2 seconds. Let's try 116. It's probably going to be exactly 2 seconds as well. Let's try 114 as a final. Yep, so that gives us exactly the amount. So let's see if that slight decrease in tempo like ruins it. Too slow. Let's try 116. Meet in the middle. Nope, it has to be 120. So either the devs say, who cares, or we need to find some spot to. Because I love the loop where it is now. What? There's no horns in here? Okay, well, let's do that right now because it just needs it. I thought I was like duplicating. Nope. No, so far there is no perk from Tom H in this track. It's all taiko drums from good old East West Play. They've been tamed down. The question is, do we do horns, euphoniums, or? Oh, it's so pretty. Guys, these horns are my favorite. This is simply, this is from 8DO. This is the, what are they? I always mess up this name. It's the Century Brass. Yeah. It's made to sound like good orchestral, classical. I just think they're the coolest sounding horns. Well, Josh, I decided not to do any tempo change because it didn't help. It just made it sound too slow. Nice. So should I do the counter melody or leave it alone? It's quite nice as is. Throw some trumpets on top. And the choir comes in. I'm liking this a lot. Very colorful track. And it works because this is supposed to be, it's a colorful forest. It's magical woods. Has enough tension in it, but it doesn't feel like scary. It's not supposed to feel scary. And I want it to feel different from the wetlands, which are scary. I haven't considered doubling the that'd be very pretty if we double it with some woodwinds. I like that a lot. Well, that's cool to hear, Eric. Yeah, I mean, there is no one sample library that solves all problems, but it's very good at what it does. I try to basically use that for almost everything. It's not great for big, bombastic, over-the-top brass. I think that's the job for the Tom Hulkenberg brass, but... it's very nice. To the lower octave. So I'm going to have this double be in the viola. So I can use violin 2 for harmony. That'll sound really cool. Pretty easy to do here. Just need to chop up that section. Move it to viola and then violin 2. Welcome back. Harmony time. Oh, man, that sounds so good. Cool. Yeah, Micah, you missed this epic harmony. I'm happy with that. I think it just... There we go. Da-ba-da-ba-dum, ba-da-ba-dum. Shabba-da-ba-dum. Bum. Bum-ba-bum, ba-da-bum. That should all be... Dum, dum, bum, bum, dum. Oh, I'm very backwards. Da-ba-da-ba-dum, ba-bum-ba-bum, ba-da-dum, ba-dum, dum, dum. A little picardy third happening there. Or suspended 4 to major 3. Which means this needs to have a horn too. Yeah, to be consistent. Oh, come on. So maybe we'll do this. That'll be the trumpet. Which will double the viola. So, a tough line for the horn players, but it sure would sound cool if it was performed correctly. That'd be really hard to line up. Because that's just, it doesn't sound good. I'll have the horns come in on the end, and we'll do the harmony on top. So we'll do this. Eric's keeping meetings. Minutes for the meeting. Cool. You do that. Harmony. It's a fabulous invention. So here's my revelation. This really only works when the brass comes in here. These should all be woodwind. Everything, all the fast stuff should be woodwinds. Woodwinds and strings. This makes no sense for the brass to play. Doesn't sound good. I like that part, but I don't like anything else the brass plays. It works here, but this part. This totally needs to be woodwinds. Harmony. That's funny. Come on. There you are. Oh, yeah. Eric, that's the best comment I've had all day. Thank you. All right, cool. Shibidi-ba-doo, shibidi-ba-doo, boo-doo-ba-doo. Yeah-ba-dum. It's very colorful. Playing the flutes. Excellent. All right. Let's do it. I like that little tune. Yeah, singing totally helps with all of this. Actually, Rich Vreeland, of all people, who taught me that. A disaster piece. He sings everything before he plays it. Cool. One more. You hear that harmony? That was not even, I didn't expect to do that. The fingers just did it. What's happening? That was cool. And it lines up with the brass, actually. Cool. It lines up with the brass chords quite nicely. Let's see how that feels. A fellowship? What do you mean? Come on, Lord of the Rings. I want to add some more perk. Here we go. Let's stop it there. So there's a little bit of a pause. Should all be eighth notes. Some nice little crunchy crunch in the background. Cool. Let me put these at the end as well. For the loop. Experiment with some Tom H perk. Just see what that might feel like to give some more low end. Saving. Down here. Steven, how do you deal with panning if you have multiple libraries for one instrument? What do you mean? How do I have multiple libraries for one instrument? You're talking about, it depends on what your goal is, right? If you're trying to combine 3 string libraries to create, like one string library, then you'd want to kind of treat them the same, I would imagine. But if you're going for an effect, you might want to spread them out and make it super large and in charge. I really don't want to get bombastic on this one. I think I'm just going to do like some soft hits. I don't want the toms. That's with the big, I guess it's a swordo on the big beats. All right, I'm going to just roll with this rhythm here. It seems to work pretty well. Let me quantize it. Just a syncopated dotted eighth note. I can duplicate that really easily. So let's take that, pop it in. Mike, are you asking about my panning? I don't think there's a right or wrong way for panning, but for me, I try to keep all of the panning like that comes out of the box because these producers have already panned it to the right, to the left to make it sound like an orchestra. Just kind of depends. You can always listen and see if it needs to be moved, but generally I don't touch panning unless it's for a specific effect. All right, let's get that last little bit here quantized. It's a little off. Something's going on. What's up, Jay? Welcome. All right, Mr. Horn, I'm going to need you to not come in off beat. That'd be great. That's because of my delay compensation, so I have to actually shrink it down. These get a little bit off. Aha! I see why. I never intended for this little John Williams-y woodwind line to actually make it. The team liked it. So now I actually have to clean it up. It's pretty cool. And it doubles with piano and harp and Celeste. So it's a really interesting combo. That's probably why it's not in time. Just piano, sorry. That little phrase. Aha, see? Piano's not even quantized. Because I didn't think it was going to make it. Just a little demo. Cool. Glad it did. I don't know how you hear some Howard Shore in this, but I'll take it as a compliment. That needs a cymbal. Really bad. I really don't. I do not hear any Howard Shore in this. I can hear a slight bit of John Williams just because of the woodwind thing, but hey. I mean, I love Lord of the Rings, but I don't. If there's anything in there, it's unintentional. What? Higgins and Williams? Come on. I mean, I love all those things, so it's going to come out somewhere. That needs some drone for sure. I'm missing a lot. I don't think I have any drone in this. What's going on? Yeah, it's gonna be nice. Man, this is a cool instrument. This reminds me of all my Dark Dice writing where they wanted a hurdy-gurdy on every single track. They still do. We're already starting talks of new music for next year. So I'm actually quite good at writing drones, apparently. Cool. I'm really happy with that. That's a bit we did yesterday, where it follows the strings. I like that a lot. And I learned from my Dark Dice days that if you have a drone, at least with the hurdy-gurdy, it seems to work the same here with the mix. Because I'm basically doubling the double basses pitch-wise, and the double basses are always panned a little bit to the right, like 20%, 30% to the right. My drone, which historically has been a hurdy-gurdy, in this case it's a nickel harpa drone, I'm now panning it 20% to the left. And it creates a really fat panning. So I'll show you an example real quick. So down here, listen out to the left. The left headphone is the drone. The right headphone are the strings. Ooh, let's do that. Let's do that. Let's add 2 more bars. Yeah. Found my secret sauce. That's going to make it exactly 2 minutes. Yes. Like that a lot. So all I have to do is, it'll make for a better loop anyway. If I can figure this out. Question mark? Okay. Just getting all my stiff copied over. I like that a lot with the strings. We can't go that low. All right. Let's see what we can in that last section. I like it. I like it. I'm not keeping any of that, but this might be something I add on the repeated version only, on the second pass only, is to have that note. That way we have 2 loops. I think it'd be cool on the second time to have that. But in the meantime, I could just go in here and I can mute it for the first pass like this. This is one of those ways I get around not having to use Fmod or Wise, because I'll just output 2 separate loops and then throw them into the Unity engine. Which is quite nice. Oh, I'm not confused by the fruit bat. Come on, don't insult my intelligence. I wonder if this would be a good thing to double with the Contra. Gosh. Cool. I like that. Nice. That's cool. I like that note. The only thing left to do is I want to double the TH perk with my skin drum. That's been my palette for the whole soundtrack. So I'm literally just going to double that MIDI channel here. And I'll go ahead and merge it all together so it's just one MIDI track for that whole little section, the whole piece of music. I'm literally just going to go over here and copy and paste it to my skin drum. The only difference is I have to find which pitch I actually want. That should be fine. Nope. This one. Cool. And it should work now. This gives it more clarity. It's like a kick drum. Yeah, that sounds really solid. It's very clean, and that's what I want. I want it to take up too much space. All right, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm done for today. That's all the time I have. Thank you so much for being a part of this, just kind of being a fly on the wall while I work. More or less finished 2 tracks today, at least 1. I'm very happy about that. I'm working on 7 simultaneously right now over the next week or 2, so I'm just trying to knock out a lot of music, about 10 more minutes of music for this ongoing soundtrack for this roguelike. I'm really excited to share when I'm allowed to, but in the meantime, just kind of cranking away at this. I don't think I'll be able to stream tomorrow, but at the very least, set in your calendars for 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time this Thursday. We're going to be doing a stream about Dragon Ball The Breakers, which is the next DBZ game. Super excited about it. It's basically Breath of the Wild, Dragon Ball Z style. Everyone's doing a Breath of the Wild. There's a Sonic game coming out later this year, Sonic Frontiers. We'll do a stream about that. Everyone's trying their hand at it because apparently open world is the way to go. I mean, come on. If Pokemon can get away with it with Legends Arceus, then I think they've proven the model that this is a highly successful genre and everyone wants to get their slice of the pie. At least everyone at Nintendo wants that. So they're just trying it for every mainline series. But can we talk about the elephant in the room? Why is there not an open world Donkey Kong game? I mean, come on. DK64 is one of the greatest games of all time. And my theory is they're hanging on to that for the online, the Switch Online, and they'll drop it at some point next year. Because, you know, some people just, I want that. I want that so bad. I think that'd be so perfect. Like, why have they not done a Breath of the Wild treatment for Donkey Kong? Come on. Anyway, so coming out on Thursday, we'll be doing a review on some really cool metal electric guitar sample libraries and metal drums. And we're going to put that together to create a really cool track for Dragon Ball. There's a lot of other cool games coming down later this year. We have Final Fantasy VII Reunion. We have... What else we got? Oh my gosh, there's so many good things. We have Mario Rabbids Sparks of Hope coming out. We have the Pokemon... Violet and Scarlet coming out. I think that's next month. We have Ogre Battle Reborn. We have Rebirth, I think it's called. And then next year we have Zelda, New Breath of the Wild. Well, they have a name now. Tears of the Kingdom. We have the Fire Emblem Engage. So many great games coming out. Oh my gosh. That's a fun idea, Matt, for me. Rescore the Mario trailer. Oh, I hate that trailer so much. Oh, I'm so sad. The trailer itself is phenomenal. If you haven't seen it yet for the Super Mario Brothers movie, if you have not seen that trailer yet, then you are living under a rock. Go watch it right now. The trailer is amazing. The music sucks. So I don't know. I have a lot of mixed feelings about a lot of Nintendo properties these days. Anyway, lots of cool streams coming up. So yeah, Dragon Ball The Breakers coming up on Thursday. Come hang out at 12 o'clock p.m. That's Eastern Standard Time over here in Atlanta, Georgia. So hope you guys have a fabulous day. Thanks for hanging out. I got to go I got to export these tracks and get them over to the dev team and move on for the day. So thanks for being a part.